The British government has lost the bloody plot. Haroon Aswat, a man who confessed to helping mastermind not just the 7/7 attacks but 9/11 too, is about to walk free. Not because he served his time, not because he's reformed, but because the UK's legal system is so tangled in red tape, human rights clauses, and mental health loopholes that we're apparently incapable of saying the one word that should matter here. No. Let me say this louder for the people in the back. A man who bragged about helping Osama bin Laden orchestrate the most infamous terrorist attacks of our generation is about to be released back into society, and there's nothing the government is doing to stop it. So here's the £1,000,000 question. Why isn't this man being deported? Why isn't he being handed over to the desert rats he aligns with ideologically? Why isn't his citizenship being yanked like we did with Shamima Begum, who, let's not forget, was 15 when she fled the country? Let's unpack the sick irony. The UK government was more willing to permanently exile a teenage girl, born in Britain, groomed online, trafficked into a terrorist caliphate, than a full-grown man who helped plan mass murder, a girl who never laid hands on a bomb, never built one, never even left Britain with a weapon in hand. They dropped her like a bad habit. But Haroon gets tea, treatment, and a potential release date. Why? Because the law makes it difficult. That's the excuse of cowards and civil servants too spineless to challenge the framework. Let's be blunt. Citizenship in this country is treated like a blood right for some and a fragile privilege for others. If you're born here and your name sounds English enough, they'll tie themselves in legal knots to respect your rights. But if your name sounds Muslim, brown, foreign, then your passport's a paper target. Tear it up. Ship you out. Even if you were trafficked at 15. Even if you were indoctrinated, even if you were failed by every adult institution around you. But Haroon is born in Dewsbury, no second nationality, no passport to revoke, so legally we're stuck. British law says we can't strip someone of citizenship if it would make them stateless. But why hasn't anyone in Parliament thought about changing that law? Why is the default to shrug and say, oh well, better luck next terror attack? We are not helpless. Parliament could legislate, fast-track a new law allowing revocation in extreme cases with judicial oversight. They've done it before. The Home Office loves to flex its powers when it suits them. When it's some poor refugee who overstayed their visa, they'll throw the whole book at them. But when it's a literal terrorist mastermind, suddenly the law becomes sacred. Suddenly we must uphold every comma and clause. The hypocrisy reeks. We are told we can't deport him because he has nowhere to go. Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, those aren't viable options, they say. But why does that matter? He doesn't belong here. He gave up his right to this soil the moment he helped plot its destruction. If you conspire to kill civilians on your own streets, then you've made it abundantly clear you are not British in spirit, in action, or in value. And yet, here we are, talking about his rights. What about the rights of the victims? The right not to sit beside him on a bus? The right not to see the man who helped murder your family members walking free like he's just another patient discharged from A&E? Let's talk about the mental health excuse too, that tired old lifeline they always pull out when they need a legal technicality. Haroon Aswat has been under psychiatric care, diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. And that, apparently, is the golden ticket. Not prison. Not a terrorism sentence. Psychiatric detention. Which means the moment some panel says he's responded well to treatment, they can release him. No terrorism risk review. No parole board. Just a few shrinks and a shrug. This isn't justice. It's theatre. And we, the public, are meant to sit here, twiddling our thumbs, hoping he doesn't relapse or reconnect with the violent ideologies he never renounced in the first place. The same ideology he bragged about. Bragged. Let's be crystal clear, there is no remorse here, no accountability, no apology, just a man who outplayed the system, who's likely still radicalised, and who's about to walk free. So again, why haven't we changed the law? If the Home Secretary had a shred of political courage, they'd be in Parliament this week proposing legislation to close this loophole, draft a new category, citizenship revocation for acts of exceptional national betrayal with international safe haven coordination, build treaties, coordinate with international courts, do something. But we won't, because the system is designed to favour inaction. It's safer politically to let a terrorist walk than to risk a lawsuit for breaching international law. It's safer to keep the headlines boiling, but the hands tied. Safer for MPs to grandstand on morning talk shows than to actually fix the statute books. And guess what? Haroon Aswat isn't the only one. There are dozens of similar cases in limbo. Quiet releases, name changes, ID protections. You probably sat on a bus with one this week and didn't even know it, all while our veterans sleep on the streets, all while British citizens who've paid their taxes, built this country and lived honest lives are crushed under the weight of bureaucracy. There is no justice in this equation. Only political cowardice and legal contortion. We have to make noise. Public pressure is the only thing that spooks these institutions. Make them uncomfortable. Make it politically radioactive to let terrorists walk free. Flood your MPs with letters. Force debates in Parliament. Demand legal reform, because if we don't, we'll be right here again, after the next bomb, after the next bus explodes, after the next grieving mother asks, why was he free? And the answer, whispered from the shadows of Whitehall, will be the same limp excuse as always: the law wouldn't let us. But laws don't write themselves, people do, and people can change them, so change it, before it's too late.